Hello, everybody. We are live. Oh my gosh. I'm not in my usual environs tonight. I'm in an Airbnb. Long story, stuff going on at home. But anyway, I'm here for the Monday night Facebook Live, and I'm here with a very special guest tonight. So we're both Laurel and I are going like this with our Wi-Fi because we're like, oh my God, because whenever you're streaming, it's like, oh my. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's so good to be here. And my guest is Laurel, who is now, some of you may have remembered a long time ago, I did a live stream with somebody called Christopher, who was just a mine of information. He's like an encyclopedia, Christopher, isn't he?
Yes.
Of information, everything wellness has been kind of in the really put, you know, his second name is wellness. He was ahead of the game with everything. But he is, Laurel and Christopher are co-CEOs and co-founders of a CBD line called Prima, which some of you have actually, hello, Laura. We got lots of regulars on. Some of you may have tried it. Some of you may love it. Some of you may have questions about it. But really tonight, what we're going to be talking about is we are going to be talking about CBD because, Laurel, here's the thing. It's taken over the last probably 5 years, but I've noticed really in the last 2 years in the kind of wellness space. First, it was kind of a little bit niche. Then it was like you started seeing it in skincare and in health food stores. And now it is such a kind of major part of of what we hear about. However, as is the case that I was talking with Christopher, there's just like anything, right, Laurel? There's CBD products. It's like saying there's vitamin C products and vitamin C products. And everybody who's watching tonight, we're going to have a conversation because you know me. If you don't know me, you're going to get to know me. Is that I will only consider the science behind something. I want to know if it's going to work for me. I want to know if it's going to work for you, my community. Otherwise, we're not talking about it. It's just not on the agenda. And what's really important to me is quality and something that really works and is the best in show. That's end of story, what I'm all about, Laurel, and most of my community know that. Hi, Christy. Hi, Leah. Hi, Julie. Hi, Laura. We've got Maureen. Hello, a lovely regular. So that's what we're going to chat about. So ladies, if you have any questions, we're talking about CBD, and you can ask us anything about CBD products, anything that interests you. Right, Catherine is on and she's sharing a link with some products that we love. So let's get straight into it, Laurel. What is the top CBD product myth that you want to bust once and for all? Go.
You know, Sophie, I feel like you actually just alluded to it, which is that the idea that all CBD is the same and the only thing that matters is how many milligrams. That is not true at all. All CBD is not created equal. Milligrams is only part of the story, and there's a lot of junk in the market. And the problem with that is then people try it, it doesn't work, and then they believe CBD itself doesn't work. And the problem is that if you don't have a quality product with quality hemp extract, with science-backed ingredients supporting that overall formulation, it's not going to be an effective product. Where at Prima, we care very deeply about all of those things. I think we're very values aligned in that regard. Fun fact, I was actually a huge skeptic when I first heard about CBD. I was like, this is snake oil. I don't know. It sounds like it can do too many things. And it wasn't until I really dug into the science and the research of the body system and the ingredient, how it works with that system, how it modulates all these different things from mood to skin health to sleep to anxiety, that I had an aha moment and I realized how powerful it was, but that nobody was actually doing it in a very scientifically credible way and in a way where the products themselves were great quality. So
wow, that's great, and I love it because for those of you who have just come on, hello, we're talking about CBD. I have an amazing guest tonight. I'm not in my usual situation here. It's a little bit weird. It all looks a little misty, actually. I don't quite know why, but I'm in an Airbnb because I'm having some bathroom construction stuff done in my home. So it's a kind of long story where I am here with the dogs, and we definitely CBD is needed for calming and stress relief. Definitely, Laurel. But we're talking with Laurel. She is co-founder and she is co-CEO of Prima, which, as many of you know, is really the only product that I really sort of take seriously in this space. And I'm glad that you said, Laurel, that you were a skeptic and that you thought your snake oil bells were ringing when you first thought of it, because truly you and I are very aligned like that with being in the wellness space. There truly is an enormous amount of snake oil. Let's not pretend that there isn't. Have you ever been to the Expo West, any of those big natural? I mean, gosh, talk about snake oil. I mean, it's everything from people putting their feet in those foot baths and all the water going black, and it's drawing all the toxins out of them. And it's one thing to another. So for those of you who don't know, most of you know me, but those of you who don't know me that are watching, what women like Laurel and I are here to do is to really sort of bust a lot of those myths and to let's really sort of talk about it and get into what really works.
Yeah.
I'd love to take a moment to talk about CBD for those who aren't familiar with it, honestly, as an ingredient and who may be apprehensive. So, I have, a lot of ladies in my community, Laurel. Some are cancer survivors, some have gone through chemo, some suffer from anxiety, some suffer. I mean, we've got a lot of different things going on. So I know how useful it can be, but I'd love you just to tell us what it is, how it's produced, why it's legal, because a lot of people still think there is that myth of, oh my gosh, it's, is it a sort of, marijuana or something that will get me high? So can I hand the mic over to you for all of that?
Absolutely. How much time do you have?
Yeah.
So I'll start by explaining what CBD is and what it comes from. So CBD is an acronym that stands for cannabidiol, and that is one cannabinoid that is found in both hemp and marijuana. And so I think that's where a lot of confusion comes from, is that you can find it in both plants. Mainly the difference between hemp and marijuana is the level of THC content, and that's the one that gets you high. Right? So that's what's in marijuana, and that's going to give you the psychoactive component. Hemp has very, very, very little THC in it and a lot of CBD. So from a molecule standpoint, that's where it comes from. In terms of how we get that ingredient, we take the hemp plant and we do at Prima a cold process CO2 extraction. So we take the biomass and we cold process it. We pull all of those cannabinoids out, as well as terpenes and flavonoids and a lot of other really beautiful things that are in the plant. And then we extract that, clean it up, and that becomes our broad spectrum hemp extract. One of the things that's confusing about the CBD market is you may hear about full spectrum, broad spectrum, isolate. Yeah. What does all this mean? And effectively, I'll sort of break those three down. So full spectrum means that the hemp extract in the product also has a little bit of THC. Now, it's going to be below federal limits, so it's sold legally, still coming from hemp, but there is small amounts of THC. Broad spectrum means you have all of the cannabinoids like CBD, and there's other ones, CBG, CBN. There are a lot of minor cannabinoids, I think close to 150, but no THC. So that has been fractionated out of the extract.
Okay, now hang on, because you're like Christopher, you have got a brilliant mind and you're a super, super smart woman. And I just, hang on a sec, because this is so educational. Yeah. Everyone who's watching, just take, honestly, I'm not being funny, take notes, because this is really useful for you to know as you sort of go forth and you see different things and whatever. So can I just recap there that full spectrum contains a little bit of the THC.
Correct.
Now, if you know how some dog products, some veterinary, my daughter's studying to be a vet, by the way.
Mhm.
And so, you know, when our dogs are like super scared and fireworks and things like that, you go to the vet and you can get these, I believe, full spectrum, maybe that has a tiny but little bit of the THC in it. And maybe that's sometimes what's used for medicinal purposes and whatnot. But that's that, yeah. But then you're saying broad spectrum. Is that what Prima uses? That has all of these different things in it, but no THC.
That's correct.
Right.
And I will say, to clarify, full spectrum products won't make you feel high. There's not enough in there to give you a psychoactive effect, but there is a little bit of THC. And there are a lot of people who don't want that at all. And that's why we have a broad spectrum where we remove that, because it is more comfortable for a lot of people to use versus a full spectrum extract.
Perfect. Now, hang on a second, because I need to get my glasses, because there's a very complicated question from Maureen, who's absolutely brilliant on all of this. So Maureen says, and you might, I don't know if you can see the comments.
I do.
Do you use a Maureen, this is over my head here. Okay, you just.
I've got it. We use a spectrophotometer. Oh my gosh. I'm going to totally yes, during the extraction process and the fractionation process.
Okay, great. THC, and so, what, in layman's terms, what I'm hearing is, because I'm very interested from a food perspective and a tea perspective, because both those things are important to, you know, for me, is if things, you said it's CO2 extracted.
Yeah.
So that is obviously going to separate Prima apart from some of the other products that I would imagine would use toxic chemicals for their extraction process. Is that correct?
That's right. So the most common extraction methodologies are first petrochemical solvent extraction, layman's terms, butane, hexane, heptane. Those chemicals are used to create the extraction, and they are very, very toxic. They're toxic for the people who are handling it. They're toxic if they make it into your product, and they are something that we will never use in the extraction of our hemp. The other option is alcohol, using ethanol extraction. We don't do ethanol extraction because when you put ethanol in the product to get all of the ingredients out, you then have to remove the ethanol. And if you don't remove the ethanol properly and you have ethanol contamination, that can also be toxic. We do CO2 for two reasons. Number one, it's a cold, slow process, so it leaves more of the plant intact for a richer, fuller extract. And the second is that CO2 evaporates at room temperature, which means you don't have to separate and reclaim that solvent in the extraction process. It happens naturally at room temperature because it's a gas and it evaporates. So for us, it's a very clean extraction method. And it is one of the things that sets our hemp apart from a lot of the hemp in the market, which is usually extracted using one of those two methods.
Gosh, that's so fascinating. Everybody's saying, if you just joined, by the way, we're talking about CBD. I'm here with the co-CEO and co-founder of Prima. Now, Prima is beyond. Prima, can I just say, every single product that I've ever tried from Prima, and I'm just going to jump in just to talk about products for a moment, because we're talking about all this science, and I want to get you excited, ladies, as excited as I am. So I don't even know where to start. The Prima body oil, for those of you who have skin on your body that is, you know, gets very dry. And as we get older, our skin does get thinner and drier and needs a lot of extra special care. This is like a body oil, the like of which you have never, I can't even, I have to take it with me when I travel, which is a problem because it's a very thick, unctuous oil. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to like triple bag it, you know, to make sure it doesn't go. So let's even talk, because Prima, for those of you who don't know, Prima, it has both sort of inside and out products. So we're talking the most incredible facial oil ever anti-aging facial oil called Glow. What is it? It's called Glow.
Night Magic.
Sorry?
Night Magic is our face oil.
Night Magic. And as somebody actually who you don't even know, Laurel, actually turned me on. She said to me, have you ever tried this thing? And she literally said, I put it on in the morning and at night, and I wake up and my skin is completely, I mean, she was just stunned by it. So that's the Night Magic oil. Yes. The Night Magic oil and the body oil are the most beautiful products. And just before, I'd love you to tell us a little bit about the skincare, because my community loves skincare. And then we can talk about the other products. But ladies, we have a really, really special code for you tonight. And it's just for a very, very, very short time only. And I'm going to read this because I want to get it right. So if you use the code, and Catherine will pop this in, Sophie25, that will give you 25% off, and only until midnight tonight, right? Only until midnight. That is 25% off. And Prima really rarely does this, right, Laurel? So this is a really, really big deal. So if you want to start looking at the website, Catherine's put a link into the body oil. If you want to start, like, honestly, the body oil, the Night Magic facial oil, either of those would make the most beautiful holiday gift. For those of you who are really in my community and who are, working with me, we talk a lot, Laurel, about the importance of self-care, of doing a self-massage almost every night if you can, because it's so, obviously not only soothing, but on a sort of mental, physical, and spiritual level. It's a practice that certainly in my program, if anyone's watching, ladies who work with me, that's something that we do. This is the oil. This is the self-treat, self-care oil that you do. Abhyanga is a Ayurvedic practice, but if you use this oil, it's like none other. And there's one more thing that I want to pop in, because if any of you go early, listen, hear this before you go. Laurel, there is a bath. It's called the bath cube. What is it called? The
bath gem.
Bath gem. It is called the bath gem. I've spoken to people about this before, and people are like, are you okay? Because when I start talking about it, I'm like, no, you have to get it. So it is a lot. I don't know if you've got one there to show everybody.
If you give me 1 second, I can grab it
while I'm talking about it. So it is a very large bath bomb, but it's like a big square bomb. And it is full of this very high quality CBD and a blend of beautiful, very, very potent essential oils. And just this one bath cube, as they call it, or bath gem. Can you hold it up to the camera, Laura? There you go. That, because it's big. It is big. And you pop that whole thing in your bath, and it is akin to the most beautiful, it's like a spa experience, honestly.
Not just that, we've literally, this is not hyperbole. People have said, and I quote, "It's better than sex." And I'm like,
well, there you go. There you go.
Enough said.
Enough said. And I want you to say, yes, the face oil can be used with rosacea skin. It absolutely can, and is very good for sensitive skin. But wait. Before we get off the bath gem, I just want to say, ladies, you've heard it from Laurel, right? It is an incredible experience. But I have to say that, our lives are full, very full as ladies. And, my self-care routine is absolutely sacred. It's sacred. Nobody can take that away from me. Have I got the time and the thing to go and do the spa? No, I don't. So I do it at home. My ladies, my clients, we learn to do this at home. And if you have, 2 or 3 of those bath gems, give yourself a treat once a week. And you will pop it in a bath, run a full bath. your whole family will just go, oh my gosh, because it makes the whole house smell lovely. My daughter is obsessed. She always says, can I cut it in half? And I go, no.
Yep.
And I'm actually, I have to admit, I'm a little bit mean with them because I'm like, no, they're mine. You can use a different bath bomb.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very special. You come out of the bath, you don't even need to put an oil or a lotion on because it's got so many moisturizing ingredients in it, and you want it to stay on your skin because of all the beautiful essential oils. So you have that, and then, you know, on other nights you do your self-massage with the beautiful body oil, which has the CBD in it. And honestly, there you go. There you go. And that's really what you want to be looking at doing. So give yourself the treat this, you know, season of buying those two things. Get them as holiday gifts for your loved ones, for your husband, for your kids, for your wife. My husband absolutely loves the bath bombs as well, the bath gems. So remember, everybody, it is 25% off, but it's only till midnight tonight, midnight Pacific time tonight, and then it's done. Then it's back to their regular prices, and you have to use the code, the coupon code Sophie25. So go look at the website, go check that out, and also tell all your friends, because as I said, this is not like a regular deal, is it, Laurel, that you give to people? It's very, very special. So please just, you know, you can tell all your friends, you can say, hey, quick, you know, text all your friends and just go, this is a one-time chance to get these exceptional products, and use the code Sophie25, okay? Okay, so Maureen has a great question. Maureen, I don't know whether you're talking about, Maureen's question is, how does CBD feel? So Maureen, what I would like to know is, are you talking about what it feels like on your skin, or do you mean what it feels like to ingest it? Because we're going to get to those ingestible products in a moment. I'd love to know, Maureen, what, let's see. And then, right, I'm going to, while I'm waiting for that question, that answer, Miss Sunrise, what a beautiful YouTube name, said, do you offer affordable or free shipping to Canada?
Great question. So right now we only ship in the United States, but that is absolutely on the roadmap and something that we're looking into. And I think while we wait for Maureen's clarification, I think it will help to explain how CBD works with the body and why it then works for your skin and for a lot of other purposes. So if that's okay, I think I'd like to take a little bit of time to talk about that, because I think it's not well understood why CBD is such a powerful ingredient. And I'm going to get a little science and a little technical, but I think it's really important that we all know how our bodies work, because that's one of the ways that we can gain power and really optimize how we're feeling. So one of the biggest challenges is stress. And one of the things, people always think about stress being mental, and it's really not. It's highly, highly physical. When you are stressed, your sympathetic nervous system fires up, and that's essentially your fight or flight response. And what that does is that increases your adrenaline, increases your cortisol, it elevates your heart rate, your blood flow to your muscles, and it decreases blood flow to the gut and to the skin. And if you think about it, this is great, because when you're under an immediate threat, all of a sudden your body is oriented into the places it needs to be to respond. The problem is that in today's society, we live in a culture where we're getting exposure to this type of stress response chronically and all the time. And the more frequently we're exposed to this, the easier that trigger is. And the problem is that when that happens without being mitigated, the long-term impact of that is really, really detrimental. It can suppress your immune system. It can suppress or have an increased inflammatory response. It has decreased digestive system activity, heart disease. It speeds up the aging process. Like, it really impacts every single part of your body inside and out. And I think it's important to lay that foundational groundwork, because one of the amazing things about CBD is how it helps to manage that in many different body systems, both inside and out. It's present in our skin and in our digestion and our brains and all of our major organs. So I'll stop there, but I think it's laying that foundation is important, because you have to understand the problem you're solving and how the solution works, I think, to get why it's such a powerful ingredient. And it's not very well understood.
I love that, Laurel. I'm just going to, Laurel, do not go,
Yeah.
because I'm just shutting the door, because I don't want my little dog to run off. Give me 1 second here.
No worries.
You can talk amongst yourself, ladies. Come here, Sunshine. You know, this is my little Sunshine, and I don't know whether that's my little dog. So, I just had to stop her from going out of the door. So, Laurel, I love that explanation you just gave, and I think that explanation of the stress response is absolutely foundational to this conversation, because I think we talk so much about stress, don't we? Oh, stress on your skin, stress on etc. But the thing is, our body is our mind. Our body becomes our mind. And we have these thoughts, you know, to 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day, you know, research tells us. And those, you know, embed in and become our physiology. And so really, you can't sort of separate the two. What I'm really hearing you say is that stress is it is both a holistic, whole, systemic problem,
Yes.
and it is a whole, holistic, and systemic solution.
Exactly. And I think you're teeing me up quite well for the next part, which is, okay, so how does CBD work with all of this? And if you look at Prima, one of the things that we've done is we've actually taken a holistic approach to skin, body, and mind, right? That's how we think about it. Therapeutic body care, looking at skin care, and then looking at ingestibles to help with those internal optimizations and mental health. So the endocannabinoid system is probably something you've never heard of. And it is actually one of the most important systems in the human body, because it is what creates homeostasis. Fancy word for balance. So when your sympathetic nervous system is fired up, or when something is inflamed, or something's out of whack, your endocannabinoid system is what engages to bring it back down to neutral, back down to zero. And what's really powerful about this is your body produces our own endocannabinoids to do that. And that's, you may have heard of the thing called a runner's high. That's from your own endocannabinoids. Now you may say, oh, that sounds kind of like cannabinoid, cannabidiol. How are they connected? That's right, because you have phytocannabinoids, which are cannabinoids found in plants, mainly hemp. So what happens is CBD engages with the body's endocannabinoid system by helping maintain that balance in a better way. So if you think about it, what does balance mean? My skin is red and stressed. Okay, I'm going to bring it back to ground zero. And then what we do at Prima is we bring in other scientifically studied and validated ingredients to drive additional benefit. So those two together are going to be much stronger and much more powerful than either those ingredients by themselves or CBD by itself, right? It's about bringing those two things together to create something really powerful. But the endocannabinoid system, it's in your skin, your receptors are in your gut, it's in your brain. It is a major body system that CBD directly supports to provide that holistic balance.
Wow, that's absolutely brilliant and so well explained. So that now makes so much sense for having Prima creating a brand you have to do inside out.
Yes.
So it only makes sense if this system, which really is only just being understood now,
Right.
Is an inside out system that is in our skin and in our body, then it makes absolute sense to bring these products into inside out. Mm-hmm. So to Maureen's question, and I just want to see if she answered it or not, but both. So basically, so that's cued us up beautifully, because what I would love you to talk about is first off, Prima has so many products. We had one recently in our beauty box. Those of you who got the beauty box, you got the Brain Fuel, which is an incredible product. So I know this could be a sort of hour-long conversation, but can you go over the basics of the ingestible products, the basics? I know there are many, so maybe we want to just I'll let you go with that, Laurel.
Yeah,
But just tell us what it feels like, and maybe what are the starter products.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think I will cover three main things. So I would say we have three core ingestible products. We have the daily, no worries, and sleep tight. And daily, that is our everyday. Think of it as your CBD multivitamin, right? It is there as your daily support of your endocannabinoid system, right? It's going to help you find that sense of balance better. It's going to help you bounce back better. It's going to help, I don't know, I'll speak from my own personal experience. It gives me a little bit more patience, a little bit more presence. I feel more myself. And it's one of those things that's very important to take daily because the cannabinoids have to build up in your body to really reach that maximum benefit. So it really is intended as a daily supportive supplement. Helps with healthy inflammatory response, helps with supporting the immune system. It is a very holistic multi-tool, we'll put it that way. Then we have No Worries and Sleep Tight for much more targeted support. So No Worries is our product that really is focused on that very deep stress and happiness component. So it's a beautiful blend that has adaptogens and some key vitamins that are really going to help with mood. They're going to help combat fatigue, specifically fatigue that's a result of burnout, which I know for myself, I'm a mom of 3. I have a full-time profession. Like, it's COVID. Burnout is the name of the game. That comes with brain fog and all of these other challenges that we're facing. And No Worries, what we've done is we've taken our broad spectrum hemp extract and combined it with ashwagandha, with a really incredible clinically validated saffron extract, as well as vitamin B and some other key vitamins and minerals to provide a very targeted mood support for energy and happiness. And it's pretty incredible.
Okay, so I want to ask you about that one. That's called No Worries.
No Worries, yeah.
Okay, so wow, we all need that. We all need that. And very interesting that it's got saffron extract in it, because there's so much incredible science behind saffron extract for actually for brain health and neurodegenerative disease as well, which is really very, very powerful in the research with dementia and Alzheimer's. But that's a whole nother subject. But one question that one lady had, which I think is a brilliant question. So keep asking your questions, everybody, because if you have a question, it's great for everybody else, is can this product or any of the ingestibles, but I think specifically this one, be used if somebody is taking antidepressants?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I will first say always talk to your physician when you are adding new supplements and medication. That is the number one thing. But yes, it was designed to be complementary to that. But again, definitely have a conversation with your physician about that one.
Yeah, great. Now, we've got some really great questions here. Okay, so somebody is, sorry, I don't know your name, it's L. Henry. I had a problem with recurring nightmares from CBD oil and both CBD crystals. I ordered them from online store. Now I have a fear of it. Please tell me how this would happen. Can I be reassured not to have this with your products?
Yeah. So I think first, it's interesting that it's happening with topical products, because in theory, things you put on your skin shouldn't actually be having that impact on your brain. So that's a curiosity, to be honest. That one shouldn't be happening, right? To really get the mental benefits of CBD, you need to ingest it. It's not something that you can apply topically and get that benefit from. So that shouldn't happen with our bath gem. Regarding...
Well, I think they were talking about
crystals, didn't it?
Yeah, I know. Oh, crystals. I don't know crystals, whether you were talking about oil and crystals. Oh, that's weird. I see what you're saying. I was assuming Yeah.
It's interesting though. One of the things that people have talked about with CBD is really sometimes vivid dreams, and they don't really know why. And it doesn't happen with everyone. And it's one of those really interesting things. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. We actually have a sleep product that is designed specifically for sleep that has not just our hemp extract, but 5-HTP and other key amino acids that are really going to trigger your neurotransmitters for that nighttime shutdown. But it's melatonin free, which is something that we feel pretty strongly about, providing that hormone free sleep aid alternative. And so perhaps when combined with those other ingredients, you might have a better experience.
Right. So just so that you all know, so that is called worry. Tell me what it's called one more time.
The first one that was really focused on energy and mood and happiness, that's No Worries. This other product is called Sleep Tight.
And okay, and I love Sleep Tight. So No Worries is the one for every single day if you're feeling stressed and everything. And Sleep Tight is the one that would be a really good idea to try if you are having trouble sleeping and you don't want to take melatonin. And I think what is very key that you said, Laurel, is that these products, all of these ingestible products, take a while to build up in your system. Mm-hmm. So you do want to get, you've got to stay with it, because it's not just it's not like, obviously, it's not like a sort of drug that you're taking, it's like a one and done. It's a gentle, holistic thing that you're going to take over time. That's 100% safe and is going to, holistically affect your whole system. Now, we've got a couple of questions here. Okay, so what would you recommend for us in post-menopause?
I see a lot of those menopause questions, and I'm so glad somebody asked that. Look, there's a lot of different things that can happen to your body in menopause. And I would say it depends on what are you trying to troubleshoot and problem solve. Is it primarily a trouble sleeping issue? In which case I would say, sure, do Sleep Tight. That could be very, very helpful. I would say, generally speaking though, combining the daily and No Worries is a really, really great place to start, because it is going to provide a strong foundation with the daily for the endocannabinoid system, and adding No Worries is really going to help the body manage a lot of the different impacts of mood swings. It's going to help stabilize the body and really fight some of the brain fog and the mental components that can be associated with menopause. So it's a little bit depending on what you're trying to problem solve. But it's also important to know that you can combine all these things and really test and learn and figure out what works for you. It's not, if you're taking the daily, you can't take this, or vice versa. It really is about finding that right balance and blend of your body, and no two bodies are the same. What works for me might be a little different than what works for you. And so you just need to do some trial and error and feel it out and figure out that really nice cadence that works well for your system.
Oh, that's wonderful. Another question, which I think is a brilliant question. You community just have the best questions. So this lady says, and by the way, it was Laura. Hi, Laura Henry. So somebody else says, and it's just, I haven't got your name, but it's a great question. I believe stress shortens telomeres. Absolutely, that is true. They can't replicate as effectively. Interesting question. Do Prima products help lengthen telomeres?
That's not something that we've explicitly studied, so I don't know specifically the answer to that, but I would say, going back to the healthy stress response, what CBD will do is it is going to help your body have a better response to stress and mitigate all of the damage that is happening as a byproduct of constant exposure to stress.
Right, brilliant. Another question. Are there any contraindications? Who or with what condition should not take any of these ingestibles?
Yeah, that's a great question. In terms of contraindications, a lot of the science is still unfolding, because a lot of it is new from a study standpoint. If you look back 15 years ago, this is not something that we had the ability to research, because it was tied up with marijuana, which was still at the time a Schedule I drug. It wasn't until hemp was legalized that a lot of these research avenues have opened up. So right now, the main concern is actually at very, very high doses. And when I say very, very high, I mean like in the thousands of milligrams a day, potential liver issues. But if you think about the products that we have in market, you know, the doses that you're looking at are 20 milligrams, 25 milligrams, much, much smaller. And at that levels, there hasn't been any health or safety side effects that have been cited.
Great. So, and keep on asking questions. You know, we have a few minutes left, ladies and gentlemen who are watching. So what are, so just to recap, everybody, there are, if you go to Prima, the website, Catherine's put in the links a number of times, you're going to have the ingestible products, which are the, you know, no worries, the sleep tight, the everyday, I think it's called, the, you know, the daily. And they come in capsule form, easy, right. Little capsules, right? They also have little single serve packets that you can, it's like a little powder that you can just take with you when you're traveling and drop it into a glass of water or a smoothie or even a tea. Now, some of these products are really interesting and great, even, you know, when you're traveling. There is the one that was in the beauty box, which is the brain fuel, for which ladies who have brain fog, you might really want to check this one out. Really check it out. So there's brain fuel, and then there's a few more that come in the little powder, the little sachets, right?
Yes. So we have 3 stick packs. We have brain fuel, which, as you just said, is really targeted towards brain fog and increasing blood flow to the brain. So that has rhodiola, lion's mane, ginkgo, a lot of those other neurosupportive ingredients. We also have Rest Easy, which is an herbal blend for sleep support. So very different than our Sleep Tight, which is amino acid based. This one is herbally based. So passion flower, valerian, some L-theanine. And then we also have Instant Zen, which is our pure broad spectrum hemp extract. These are actually some of my favorite products. I personally love doing Instant Zen every single night with a glass of water at the end of the day. It's like a deep inhale for my body. It kind of resets me, takes me back to neutral. Like, don't have a glass of wine at the end of the day. That's terrible for you, and it makes you feel crappy. This is, for me, a much better way to have that same desire to just unwind, but feel really, really good.
Oh, how wonderful. So Instant Zen, it's called. And these come in these little stick packets. And what a beautiful, beautiful thing. You know, I just love this because I'm, you know, I really encourage women not to drink any alcohol, you know, particularly menopause and beyond, because it simply increases your risk for, you know, breast cancer and makes you feel crappy, as you say. But a lot of women really just want that kind of like that, which you would normally get from, hey, let's have a couple of glasses of wine. So ladies, instead try Instant Zen, and you can get these little stick packets. You can take them with you when you're traveling over the holiday season, and that, if paired with a bath gem, my friends, that is called self-care. That, with a little meditation and a little yoga, and now you don't even need to go away for a spa weekend. You've given yourself, but seriously, that's how we empower ourselves, and that's how we take care of ourselves. You know, without pharmaceuticals, without drugs, without alcohol, without you know, zoning out and overeating in front of the TV. All these behaviors that we want to avoid in order that we, you know, stay well and happy. This is a different way of doing it. And it's a way that you really get to take care of yourselves. So ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, I am certainly going to the website the minute this is finished, and I'm going to order all my products using that coupon code. I'm itching to get on there. You use the code Sophie25 and you get 25% off any of the Prima products. That could be the facial beautiful glow. It could be it could be any of the skincare products, and we haven't even got time to go over all the skincare products. There's the serum, they're beautiful. So there's those. get them. And then you've got, the instant Zen, that's the ingestibles that we've been talking about, the supplements, and get the supplements for yourself. Go and order those now, try them. And then the skincare, obviously get for yourself, but really, because now we're all thinking about what are we going to get for our loved ones for holiday gifts. Get it done. Just get it done. Go and get honestly, stocking stuffers would be the bath gem, right? For anybody, uncles, aunts, sisters, brothers, kids. Just get loaded up on those bath bombs, because there's those bath gems, because they're so special that if you want to put together a really beautiful gift, do the body oil, and a bath gem. Or if you want to do a super, super special, you might do 2 bath gems in there. But think about how you can sort of bundle together and create the most beautiful gift to somebody who might need it, somebody who needs self-care. Maybe somebody's been through a very, difficult, stressful time. Maybe they've been through chemo. Maybe they just need a lot of kind of love from you just to go, they're recovering from something. These are just beautiful gifts. So please do not miss it, because if you miss it and you don't do it by midnight tonight, then tomorrow, if you come back to me and say, Sophie, is there any way? There isn't. So I'm just saying, I'm not going to be able to contact Laurel and go, Laurel, there's people who still want these products. So, all right. Here, and Catherine's put a link to the Instant Zen. Catherine and I are going to be like, Instant Zen, ordering now, right, Catherine? Like, definitely get some of that for the family. So really, final question here is, I mean, we could go on for a long time, but we'll have you back. We'll definitely have you back, Laurel. But for now, and I know you've got 3 kids, you need to get them in bed, and you've got your life.
Do you hear bath time happening down the hallway?
I actually heard a little child's voice, so I'm going to let you go. But if there is one change your life product from the Prima line, what would that be?
Gosh, that's like asking a parent to choose their favorite child.
I know.
That's really hard. I would say, though, the one thing that I think is the strongest multitasker to really drive that benefit is probably the daily, which is our broad spectrum daily ingestible CBD product. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty powerful, and I think can have some pretty far-reaching wellness impacts on your life. I would say definitely, though, do not
talking about it. I'm just getting my computer charger because my power is low.
No worries. But yeah, having that bath gem around and handy is also a game changer, because it's an instant reset. It is a moment where you can take 20 minutes for yourself and feel totally transformed at the end of it. And I say that not with hyperbole. It really is a pretty powerful experience. And I would say, those 2 things are probably the biggest game changers.
Okay, so what are the game changers? Give us the 2 product names one more time. Write this down, everyone.
The daily and the bath gem.
All right, the daily and the bath gem. That's what you want to start off with, and then you can take it from there. Yeah. And I would also say the Instant Zen, and I would also say that if you've got brain fog, the brain fuel is really, really, really amazing.
Yeah. I will also say, I know we didn't have a chance to talk about skincare, but our skincare is very, very powerful. And I will say, for me, one of the things I've always struggled with is hormonal changes with pregnancy and postpartum and nursing. And our skincare has been really transformative. So definitely don't ignore that. There's some great stuff in there.
With the skincare, because I can hear the kids right now in the background, with the skincare, are we talking, okay, so we've done the facial, we've talked about the facial oil, which is
3 skincare ingredients. We have an enlightenment serum that has niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and our hemp extract. That's really going to provide hydration, plumping, and even skin tone. That's always step 1. We have the Afterglow, which is our deep, deep moisture cream. And that has vegan collagen and Ayurvedic adaptogen complex to help with things like blue light and other environmental stressors, as well as our hemp extract. And then we have our Night Magic facial oil, which is a beautiful blend of biomimetic oils, meaning oils that are very compatible with the skin's own oil production, which means it's going to absorb better and deliver greater benefits because the oil molecules are optimized for your skin's natural biome.
Okay, so oh my gosh, I'm like literally, Laurel. I'm going shopping now. I'm going shopping now. I love it, love it, love it. And all of these products, they're good for all skin types. That's the beauty of it. So if you've got rosacea, super sensitive skin that breaks out, dry skin, oily skin, all of these products are really compatible. That I know, because I talked about this a little bit with Christopher before, but whether it's a teenage or a menopausal skin, you're going to be in very, very good. So again, beautiful, beautiful gifts if you have teenage daughters, like my daughter who's just turned 20. I'm like, ooh, I'm thinking about her now for her holiday gifts. So Laurel, thank you so much for spending your time with us and for really enlightening us in such a quick way. And there's so much more to talk about, and we'll definitely have you back, and you and I can really get into it, get into it a little bit deeper, because I think a really long form interview is important to get the message out for something that's so helpful and useful and natural in supporting us in our modern day lives that are abundantly full. I wish you a beautiful evening, Laurel, getting those kids to bed. All you watching, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you learned a little bit. I learned a lot tonight. Go ahead, use that code Sophie25, go and get your products. And I wish you all an absolutely beautiful week. Thank you for being with us, Laurel.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a real pleasure.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.